Alright, so this is basically a mod. Just to show, I'm filming this because I'm basically going to take it apart and change it. I did this over a year ago, and the idea was, this is the original foot peg, and actually where it sits on the bike, and that distance there is about 4 inches. So this whole project was basically to make the bike a lot narrower, because I was commuting through town, and yeah, it's about, there we are, we're about 4 inches. So I made this bike about 7-8 inches wide, less narrower, shall we say, than original. Because as I say, I actually kept hitting this off trucks and buses and all kinds of things, and I was thinking, this is getting silly. My legs don't need to be that far, away from the bike to commute through London. So I basically removed the peg. Let's just take that out. What I did is I actually fabbed up a hanger from the back of a scooter, rear hanger, I think, and I think I've got a bracket here which I bolted using the original bracket fixing points, and then I basically put this bracket on, and that was the foot peg. So as you can see, I've loosened the whole thing off, by the way, so it's going to move around, but that could bend down and sit on top of that basically, and it was all good. But it meant that my foot my foot sits on there like that, and it was my toes were like turned in a little bit, not a very comfortable position. And as you can, I don't know if you can see that, I've not even got my full shoe actually on the peg. It's actually overhanging the peg, so it's not really comfortable. So basically the plan is, and what's brought about this rejig now, should we say, is basically my gear pivot bolt sheared the other day at work, and where is it? It's here. So that screws into this. That screws into here. Sorry, that way round. And it's a threaded section through there, and the bolt. Where are we? The bolt sheared. Now I don't think it's anything that I've did or changed originally. I think it's just wear and tear basically. But how I got around it is I took this spacer off. I managed to get that stud out from this piece of metal here, and I managed to screw it all back in. So, which has meant this lever has moved over that way even more so. So the idea of today's little exercise is basically I'm going to replace this bracket with something more substantial, and look, I'm even going to look at re-engineering this and maybe turn it around the other way or do something with it and see if I can actually lose this completely. Sorry. I must get up smoking. Right, I've got these bolt on. These are the same as the rears actually. I think I bought these off of eBay a long time ago, in case I ever wanted to do this. I've been looking on eBay for actually spare ones of these, because I was actually thinking about cutting these up, and then if I had a spare one or spare set, if it all went Pete Tong, I could change it around again. But there you go. So the idea is I might even put these. I was going to cut these off here, and then weld this part directly onto the new back plate, shall we say. But what I might do instead is actually have the back plate up a bit higher, and then actually bolt this to the back plate, and then have the original peg, this one, sort of come out from there. So it will stick out a little bit more, which will make it a little bit more comfortable. So that's the plan. So I've got it all loose at the moment, so I thought I'd film it before I actually take it completely apart, because it's probably not going to go back there, if I'm honest. I'm gonna change it. So let's have a quick look at the other side. I've got more light over this side. So again, this is the plate from the scooter, which I'll basically just cut off there, and I've used my camera works, these are lots of pieces side. I've basically used the original plate, the original front hanger, to mount this hanger off of, and then all it was a case of basically bending this pedal a little bit to move it out of the way, and then I see, because it's on a spline, you can actually put it any height you want, so it works out quite well. So that's that one. So, but I'm gonna work on one side first and get it done, and then I'll see how time goes and see if I get this. As you can see, I use this bike a lot. It's winter at the moment. The bike is covered in road shit, but it's an everyday bike's in use every day. So what do you expect? Okay, so that's obviously me master cylinder in there, which actually bolts onto the original bracket. That's the original bracket, which bolts onto the bike here, and then my bracket bolts onto the bracket. I don't know if that makes sense, but right, so that's it for now. Right, I've just dismantled it a little bit more. This gear change arm basically bolts onto that plate there, but what I might do, this is the one of the back plates I fitted, and the rear hanger bolted off of this. The new rear hanger is going to be a more thicker piece of plate, and I might cut it out the same as this here, so this knuckle can go that way. So what I think they're doing is, with the new back plate, is match that hole on that side and then move this whole arm over. So that's the extreme. As you can see, it can take it, but just move it out to about there, and then using the spacers and that, and then if I just transfer that hole straight across onto the new plate, and then use this where this new back plate's going to go, to actually swing it off, then that way I can get rid of this whole plate. But we'll see how it goes. Right, here's the gear side, more or less done. Where to start? Right, as you can see, I've had to make this bracket. I've had to basically cut it so this bottom part of the leg here of the actual gear stick can actually move backwards and forwards. Obviously the whole gear mechanism now is moved in. This peg was a pain to fit into this, because basically the hole for this pin was only half the size. It's only a very small pin, so and it's offset, so I had to drill a hole, but offset hole for the big pin to go through, and it meant a lot of filing, but we got there in the end. So that moves a little bit. So that's obviously bolted on there like that. As you can see here now, my foot goes here, so I've got the full width of the pedal. It sticks out a bit more than the original, but the original was uncomfortable, so let's try that. This gear stick mechanism, I don't know if you can see that, but I've got the nut on the inside there. I had trouble tapping that out. I had to use a die to recut the tread on this bolt, but I got there in the end, and it's all good. What I've got to do now is adjust this, because if you screw that screws up. So it's basically at its highest at the moment, so you can see that. So I'm going to take it out for a run now and then adjust this pedal to a good height. It's hard to kick it in and out of gear with the engine not running. It doesn't seem to want to get. But one thing I have learned is, if this arm here is set too far forward, then you have trouble going up the gearbox. So this, I've marked it on there where I was. So basically, I think the straighter that arm is, the easier it is to get gear. So that's it for now. I'll run this in this week, see how I get on with it, and then I'll take it all off, clean it up, and then paint it, and then that will go on next weekend, and then probably next weekend, if I get time, I'll start on the other side. So that's it for now.